How you doing out there? I'm BJ O'Neill. Again, this is Love Relations, Navigating Love. If you caught the first episode, I kind of told my background story, the journey to writing What is Love. But I would have been remiss if I didn't introduce you to my partner in this crime, Mr. Philip Pullum. And I wanted to give him an opportunity to introduce himself to you all, to understand why he's on this journey and understand, you know, all the driving motivation, why you'll be sitting beside me in a lot of what I do, and you know what you're desiring to accomplish out of this. So first of all, just kind of tell them a little bit about yourself.
My name is, as he said, my name is Philip Pullum. Currently live here in Houston, Texas. Married, father of 3 beautiful children, and just excited about where our relationship with my wife is going, and where we're going as a family, and just excited, just passionate about life and the direction we're headed in. And got a chance to hook up with this amazing guy on his journey, BJ.
Right.
And just through our conversations, we have some similar passions, and just excited to partner with him as on this book that he's written.
Right. So what, I guess, motivated? I mean, because let's be honest, man, guys, it's maybe not as traditional or conventional for guys to really talk about love and relationships, and definitely partner together to talk to others about relationships. So what kind of motivated you to kind of step out of that box, and what do you desire or hoping that we accomplish?
Well, the thing, if I be quite honest with you, just growing up in my own life, there wasn't a lot of healthy marriages that I saw. And so obviously I got married, and I'm sitting here trying to navigate that and want to be successful, and have a desire to love my wife and be there for her and be the man and the husband that she needs. And I'm sitting there, and a lot of times I'm coming up drawing blanks and not knowing what to do, but have all the, how do I say this, all the energy, the passion, the desire, and the want to do it, but lacking a lot of the knowledge.
Right.
And obviously without the knowledge, there's no way to have the discipline in order to push through to do the right thing. So it's a lot of spinning my wheels, a lot of doing things, just trial and error, mostly error.
Right.
And so in just on my journey in navigating, talking to other men who are obviously interested in obviously building something in their own homes, I met you, and we shared a like mind and a passion for marriages, for our own marriages, and wanting to see those do well. And out of that came a lot of great conversations. Obviously, the radio show that you were doing, and ultimately the book here. Right. So that's how I kind of ended up on it. And it wasn't something I kind of set out to do. It was kind of one of those things like, here it was. I'm following this trail, and here's where it's led me, and I'm excited about it. And
right.
I want to definitely be a part of it.
Right. So I know you, of course, we've been talking for years now. What did those conversations do for us that you're hoping, I guess, it would do for men with backgrounds similar to ours?
It helped me shift the focus. Main thing was I can remember our conversation started out was they were almost totally focused on our wives.
Right.
What they weren't doing, what wasn't going right.
Wait.
All that, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so the conversation was almost like a gripe session at first. But obviously after a while of doing that, a couple of days of doing that, and having your pity party, and it's always nice to have somebody who agrees with you, right? And you could share that misery together. We were just like, hey, this is not where we want to be. Obviously, we had greater visions for our marriage. We had different hopes for our marriage, different dreams, and so it was like, well, how can we get to that? And so what came out of that, I think, was we started having conversations amongst ourselves, because we shared a couple of things that we both were going through that were similar.
Right.
There were a lot of things that were different. Yeah. And so here was, we were able to offer perspective to each other on areas that we were strong in.
Right.
And so here was, when I shared with you, you were able to say, hey, maybe we want to try this. And I was able to do the same thing. And so what came out of that was we were able to get knowledge.
Right.
And we were able to get understanding about something. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is, "In all that getting, get understanding." And so when you get understanding, that gives you the power to make better choices. Because a lot of times I was making choices. My heart was in the right place, if you will, but what I was doing wasn't actually working.
You said something to me some time ago. You said you can have the understanding, but not the the desire, or you can have the desire, not the understanding. Like you needed both. How did that
Right. So you have to have ultimately have understanding, and you also have the will to do something.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's when you're in your relationship, it's one of those two things that's going on. Either you lack understanding, and so you're spinning your wheels and you're not able to move forward, or you have the understanding but you lack the will to move forward and actually apply what's necessary to see your relationship succeed. I can say, I'm not going to do anything until she does something.
Right.
And so then I know what to do, but then I don't want to do it.
Right.
And so there's another verse in the Bible that says, he that knows to do good and doesn't do it, it's a sin, which just basically means it's an error.
Right.
It's basically going to keep you from the goal.
Right.
And so if I desire this, to not do what I know to do is ultimately going to err me from where I want to go.
I think even in our conversations, what really diverted the focus, because we talked about a lot of the complaining, we did that, but we had to remind each other, what is the goal?
Right.
And make sure whatever we did, whatever we said, stuck to that goal. And that's actually when, if I was venturing off into a pity party or being upset, you pull me back with the goal and vice versa. And I think that's what kept the relationships able to navigate and move them forward, even if it was an inch, or at least it wasn't a step backwards, Now, the other thing that's interesting is that...
not to cut you off, but that was key. And the reason I say that was because I had a sounding board.
Right.
When I found myself in a negative space, or I'm feeling depleted, or I'm feeling like things aren't working out, you will remind me of my own words oftentimes. I remember a guy who said, this is where he wanted to be, and this is the type of relationship he wanted to have, this is the marriage he wanted to have. You said that, not me.
Right.
And so you was able to remind me of that words, which you said, which ultimately did pull me back.
Right.
Whether it was willingly or unwillingly, ultimately, my own words was the very thing. You helped guide me back to that very thing that I said that I desired to have.
So what I was going to say is, very interestingly, in our conversations, turns out that we've actually been in position to give women advice. Sometimes we think maybe they don't want to hear us, but we've actually found that they have an ear. So what do you think? I guess maybe is the reason they're willing to listen to you, or men in general. Like, what do we have to share towards women? A woman audience. So a woman here, she sees you and I, right, desiring to be, in healthy relationships. But what can we offer them, per se, moving forward in their own journeys? What do you think that is?
Well, that's easy. I mean, that's the male perspective. At the end of the day, you aren't in a relationship with your girlfriends.
Right.
You're in a relationship with your man. And so if you want to understand what the man thinks like, it might be good to talk to a man about those things that concern him. It's like, why isn't this working out?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like the guy that I married is not the same guy today? Why does it seem like we keep pulling apart from each other? And I believe we have a perspective to offer, and I think we're at a place now where we are able to share from an intimate level, where you may not be in your own relationship, but we're at a place now where we can share the intimacy and be able to tell you, hey, he's angry, he's upset, he feels hurt, he's betrayed, he feels scared.
Right.
And where your spouse or your boyfriend may not be able to share that with you, we can definitely read the tea leaves.
We're being vulnerable.
That.
We can be vulnerable
We can
within
be
ourselves
vulnerable
and give the honest inside truth of the frailties of man,
Absolutely.
secret desires of men, and
which is half the battle. Which, if we go back to what we were saying about understanding,
right.
If you are seeking perspective from somebody who looks like you, most likely it's going to be hit or miss. It's going to be based upon their own history, which is not going to be yours at the end of the day. And so it's going to be their own personal biases in there and things like that. And we all have them, but there are some key characteristics of men that are across the board. And so we can kind of get those basics down, talk about those things that a man desires, and those things that obviously help to motivate him, and obviously can get the conversation and the ball rolling. I think we'll all be in a better place.
Well, man, I'm honored to have you aboard on this journey to really consider the value and desires of others outside of ourselves, and really commit to offering that understanding, that vulnerability, that hope and belief and passion that people like you and me and everyone else can have these healthy relationships. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from Mr. Philip Pullum. And again, this is Levelations, and we hope that you'll continue to travel with us on this journey as we navigate love. Thank you.